It's Chairshot Reality here on WrestleZone.com at Josh Eisenberg4. Tweet me, but now, time out, stop the clock, wait, no, start the clock. It is now time for NXT in 90. NXT Takeover saw a big change in the tag team division as the most popular tag team, DIY, broke up with a great planned heel turn from Tommaso Ciampa as he took out Johnny Gargano. And folks, that's your first match at NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. Two guys who were partners, who came up through the ranks together, who were not really seen to be something more than just a quick fix before 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division took off. DIY became instantly popular with their great tag team ability, their smooth execution, and their connection with the fans, filtering from the indies all the way to NXT. I'm excited to see what happens here. Plenty of time to develop more and more storylines with these two guys. Bobby Roode is the NXT champion. I told you that. Everybody knew that. Hideo Itami was just a bridge to somebody else. But who is that somebody else going to be? As we saw this past week on NXT, Aleister Black, a quick win against Kurt Hawkins. Drew McIntyre, a nice win to end NXT against Wesley Blake. Those two guys are top two guys that I would put against Bobby Roode heading into NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. But the best part about it, you have 3 months. You can stretch it out as long as possible, potentially adding more than one person to Bobby Roode's NXT Championship match in August. But I'm interested to see how they're going to develop the women's division. Asuka dominant, yes, we get that. Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross both got pinned by the champion. You have Billie Kay, you have Peyton Royce, you have Ember Moon, a lot of very good women's wrestlers, but they're not at the top level of Asuka. So how are they going to develop this women's division heading forward? Because Asuka, in my opinion, needs to drop the title and head up to the main roster sooner rather than later. It's going to be very interesting, a very interesting summer, because there's so much potential and so much depth at the bottom all the way to the top in the NXT division, whether it's the women's division or whether it's the main event division as well. Well, I'm going to send it in studio to the guys who are going to give some more insight on the women's tournament that was announced on the WWE Network. Justin, it is all yours.
Thank you, Josh. Justin LeBar, Juice Springsteen, wearing the Newport hat.
Yeah.
Turn around so people can see. They always wonder what kind of lime green nonsense you're wearing. All right, let's talk about NXT TakeOver in Chicago last weekend.
Fantastic.
Night before we did Backlash. And I think that going into it, it was probably there was less luster behind this takeover than other ones, but I think it executed as one of the best takeovers.
It definitely was executed very well, and again, it wasn't even like it kind of felt like rushed almost, because they were like, oh, random. We don't have too much time between Mania and SummerSlam. We got to get one in there. They're like, it might just be thrown together, but I thought, at least 3 or 4 of the matches was like top notch, like great stuff.
And I think the best thing that they did was where they put the matches, because obviously match placement is a huge thing. And if you don't know, you see it on WrestleZone every week, every time there is an NXT TakeOver that leading up in that week, Triple H usually does a conference call with some of us in the media, and a big talking point that we had with Triple H was Hideo Itami. How there's got to be some pressure on him. Like, he's been one of the international investments that just hasn't panned out yet because of injury.
And you throw him in Chicago, where his move is huge.
You throw him in Chicago, where his move is huge. But it was smart that they put that match with Bobby Roode where they did, because if they would have had to follow the ladder match, no dice.
I mean, they could have had the UK match at the main event.
They could have, but they placed it.
That got 4 3/4, by the way.
Is that what it was?
It almost got 5.
4 3/4.
Yeah, 4 3/4.
I'm glad you're keeping track of it.
It came out today, yeah. As of this taping.
I thought the show was really well done. Again, the ladder match was a great way to end it. The breakup between DIY.
Yeah, that was the best way to end it.
Really, I mean,
you have the graphic up, you think it's all over, then nope.
Great the way they executed that.
I think TakeOver Brooklyn 3 is going to be incredible. Just based on stuff like that.
Well, and again, most people kind of figure this. Again, Triple H says this quite frequently. Takeovers in Brooklyn is what he deems as like their WrestleMania for the NXT brand. So you got to think all the stops are being pulled out. I know Josh has been talking heavily about possible contenders next for Bobby Roode. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the summer goes. Also coming out of news regarding not NXT, but the WWE Network and the feeder systems that the company has developed, is a women's tournament, the Mae Young Classic, taking place in July. 32 women, going to be an international flavor, international event, much like the CWC was.
I'm excited to see some of the combatants.
I would say, I know you follow the world of some.
I don't know who's going to be in this.
Who do you want? Who do you want to be in?
I don't know. There's a lot of good talent out there. I have no. My thing is, whoever I think wins this tournament is going to have some sort of thing like where they get a title shot against someone, or and I don't know if they have to go against Asuka or something. That's a welcome to the WWE.
that's what do they call that? That's quite the induction of.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not induction. What's the word I'm looking for? I
don't know. Yeah, you botched that one.
No, like when you join like a fraternity.
Initiation.
Initiation. There we are. That's what I was looking for.
God, frats are so stupid.
Were you trying to? Frats are so stupid.
Yeah.
Except for the fraternity, the tag team out of Canada that you can see your IWC tag team.
What do you think about the tournament? Who do you want to see in it? You, Mr. Put me on the spot, and I'm not up to date on my women's wrestling as I should.
No, I mean, there's so many. I don't know. I'm looking forward to discovering new talent that I don't know that is on the international side of things.
Who do you think they're gonna have call it?
I would think Jim Ross.
You don't think there's going to be a woman commentator? Renee Young, maybe?
I would not be opposed to like a Jim Ross, Renee Young. I mean, if they wanted to have a female voice,
they're going to do like
quite honestly though, because Renee Young, because they have, I know that she did some commentary in NXT and did it well, because they've pegged her as a backstage announcer. If Jim Ross is play-by-play guy, if he has a woman on the desk with him, I would imagine they'd probably pull like Alita or a wrestler to be just like how Dana Bryan was with Mauro Ranallo with the CWC. So I would think maybe Alita or somebody in that regard with Jim Ross. But I think Jim Ross, why it seems like that's Jim Ross's new role moving forward, is to kind of do some of these special projects. I think he would add life to it.
And so we got this happening. We got the rumors are floating that a Money in the Bank with women are coming in.
That will be great.
There's a lot of good stuff with the women happening.
Now we just need like a 20-woman Rumble.
I'm sure that's probably next.
You can actually do a 30-woman Rumble and bring in some of the independent girls.
The fact that they've got like how is it going to be 32 women?
32 women.
They're going to they signed what 5 or 10 of those girls maybe, and then that's adding a whole bunch more talent. I'm excited to see what it does, because the women's Divas Stephanie McMahon revolution has been it's been great so far.
Chairshot Reality, WrestleZone.com. We got more coming up. We're going to talk about coming up next. We're going to talk about the Universal title picture, Fatal 5-Way. Who do we want, or who will we see against Brock Lesnar for the Universal title?